She's like love, 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 and music. La la la, love, 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 and music.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. This is my review for Married to Medicine. This is season 5, episode 14. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm thirsty. I pushed record before I can get a drink of water. And it's currently 3:30 in the morning. So y'all know I do stuff late. So I think my voice is a little bit deeper because I'm tired as hell. But I'm like, I want to get these done before I get to bed. So I hope everyone had a great Friday. I hope y'all gonna have a great weekend. The weather here in Michigan has broke a little bit. You know, we have been getting a little bit of rain, but it's been in the 40s and 50s. No snow, thank God. But we know we have at least one more snowstorm coming. And we'll probably get it the first or second week in March. It happens every year. But I'm going to enjoy this nice non-ice, non-snow weather that we're having, that I absolutely love. So yeah, this episode of Married to Medicine, it was good. The parts that were good, but I also feel like some of the parts were lackluster, I guess. He was like, oh, okay, whatever. I think, maybe the scene with, I don't know, I just wanted more. I felt like nothing, I don't know. Let me just shut up. We see the beginning and we see Heavenly and Jewel talking basically. Jewel was on that little tanker show. She's also a motivational speaker and like a spiritual advice to certain people. To Heavenly, I don't think it's working, okay? Because Heavenly is still Heavenly, but it is what it is. And, she tells her how her thing went in Barbados, saying how the couples were kind of mad at her, how, she had these questions posed to them and they were upset about it. And, Jewel kind of brought up how you wanted these couples to be vulnerable, but you wouldn't be vulnerable. You wanted them to complete stuff that you weren't willing to be transparent and complete yourself. She said, I would have been upset as well. She was like, it would have been a better thing if you would have participated. And I said that too from the beginning, because when Simone and Cecil was hosting, the trips or whatever, they participated in all the same trips because it was just fair to be fair. Whereas Heavenly felt like her marriage was just better than, or in a better place than the other people. And she said, I told them that we don't have many issues. We do have our issues. I just don't put them out like that. And, she said, but we do have our issues. And that's the thing with Heavenly. Heavenly, she doesn't share enough, I feel like. And that could be one main reason the ladies were so upset. But, she tells her that, you have to be open to be just as vulnerable as other people are if you want them to be the same way with you. I completely agree. Heavenly then says, we were in Barbados. We had these DNA tests done where it can trace our heritage and, how our percentages of what race is in us or whatever. So she said she's going to have a DNA theme party where, we kind of dress in African garb and we'll reveal the results of this test. I think it was a great idea. Honestly, I did. So yeah, it was what it was. We see Simone meeting with Quad. And what do we see with Simone meeting with Quad? We see that Quad was 45 minutes late. 45 minutes late is a long time to be late. Period. I mean, after 20 minutes, I'm leaving. Because my thing is, especially when I know you always late, I would just leave. And now you know what, I would leave and I wouldn't tell you. I would leave and let you bring your ass to where we are. And then you get there and be like, I wasted my time coming here. No, bitch, I wasted my time sitting here waiting for your ass to get here. You should have been here on time, is what I would have said. But, I'm like, look, Quad, fuck you. That's what I would have said to her too. Simone tries to explain to Quad what she meant, or what the ladies meant on the boat when they said that they go easier on Quad because she's more sensitive. And, she said it wasn't that you were sensitive per se, like, oh, she's so soft or whatever. She says more of a thing to where you aren't open to the truths that people will tell you because you act a certain kind of way when they tell you that. So for that reason, that's what she meant by her being sensitive. And I'm like, okay. So they had a little bit of a conversation. And I agree. Quad don't like anyone telling her any part of their opinion of her. She takes offense to it at any part of it. So I watch you saying, like, if we tell you our truths about how we feel, you're not going to receive it well, and it's going to be a whole situation. So for that reason, we just don't tell you shit. Fuck it, she's too goddamn sensitive. From there, someone asked about, Quad and Greg. And, we didn't know how bad things were, seeing what was going on in Barbados. We see that you guys have more issues than we thought. And she says, I feel like you are in a point where you feel like giving up on your marriage, and I don't want you to do that. And Quad says, I tried everything, girl. I done tried counseling. I done tried writing stuff down. I done tried talking to a dog. I done tried talking to a cat. But I feel like for what they've shown, Quad ain't tried everything, because even when she tried, she's not really trying. She's trying so people can say she tried. It's the equivalent of if a house is burning down, you touch a door and say, no, I won't say that one. It's the equivalent of just saying, it's snow outside. I'm going to go to my front door and see if I can open the door. And you would just go out and say, you know what? It's too much snow. I can't open the door. And say, well, I went outside. I just couldn't. So you will make it seem as if you tried to do something just to say, well, I tried it. No, you didn't. You went outside, looked out the window, and came back inside. It ain't the same thing. So I feel like Quad do little stuff like, I'ma say I have this stuff written down upstairs. You want me to go get it? And then if he ain't want to listen to it, I can say, well, I tried. We could have our friends over to do a counseling session, and even if I'm not really open to how Greg feel, I can say I tried. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of stuff. I feel like she tried without really trying. So she just says how I still feel like he's not readily, or he's not emotionally feeding me what I need. And I get that too, because you do want the person you went to be able to feed your soul and give you energy and be your everything. But I also feel like every time he has asked her, what you want me to do, she don't have like a logical answer. And then when he tries to be affectionate in the ways that he knows how, like giving her a hug, giving her a kiss, saying I love you, or whatever, don't touch me, and she kind of blew him off. So it's hard when you want someone to give you something, but you can't articulate how you want them to give it to you. You want them to assume how to give it to you. So then when he gives it to you how he sees fit, you don't appreciate it. And it ain't what you need. Well, bitch, if you need 2 cups of sugar, tell me I need 2 cups of sugar. Don't say, you know what? I want something, and I'm missing something, and my taste buds and stuff, but I don't know what I want. No, bitch, you want 2 cups of sugar. That's what you want. You want 2 cups of sugar. So it's Quad to start saying, Greg, I need 2 cups of sugar. And he can give you those 2 cups of sugar plus whatever else. You know what I'm saying? He can maybe take them 2 cups of sugar and make you a goddamn lollipop. And you might not have even known you wanted a lollipop, but he got you a lollipop. So you got your sugar and your extraness of it being in the form of a goddamn lollipop. That's just my opinion. But it is what it is. So, but she's saying, either it's time for our marriage to change. My battery's always low. It's either time for us to change, or make change and make our marriage work, or it's a dead ass issue. Girl, we know it's a dead ass issue, but it is what it is. Little small thing between Jackie and Curtis. Jackie has allowed Curtis to come back home. I'm not surprised, because Jackie loves her husband. Ain't nothing wrong with Jackie loving her husband. I'm not surprised. What I'm happy about is she took the time to make sure it's what she wanted. You know what I'm saying? Some people leave too quick. Some people stay too long. She took enough time to see, can I get over this? Can I move past this? Can I see us back together? You know what? I'm at a point where I think I can do that. So let me allow him back in to see if I can allow him back in my bedroom. Because as she lets him move back in, what he finds out when he get there is, put your ass standing in the guest room downstairs. So when I'm upstairs, you're going to be downstairs, because I'm not to the point where I want you back in my bed. And I do think when you are reconciling with your husband, sometimes it shouldn't be about getting back into the same exact routine, because you might not be fully ready for him in that way. So I think the thing of we still working on us and we're under the same roof, that's step 1. And I think that was a good thing. So was what it was. We see Greg and Quiet meet up with a little marriage group. Lord Jesus, this marriage group don't work, okay? At all. And Quiet was saying how, they were talking or whatever. And Quad brought up how I've helped build him up professionally. I've helped get him to where he is today. And, you know, I've done A, B, C, and D for him or whatever. And Greg said, but that ain't what a wife do. He said, you talking about stuff that like a buddy does. Honey, Quad was offended to the gods, okay? And I feel like the way he said it probably offended her. But I think the question that, well, the conversation that Quad and Gregory maybe never had was, Greg, what is your expectation of me as a wife? And Greg never said to her, what is your expectations for me as your husband? They never had the conversation where he feel like she should be a housewife at home and she should be okay with doing everything that's needed around the house. I want a housewife. And she feel like
here's what I found on the web.
I don't know if I pushed a button in my phone. That almost scared the dog shit out of me. 2 phones is crazy. But yeah, I done forgot what I was fucking saying. Damn it. Oh, yeah, they haven't talked about what they want as a husband and wife. Yeah, because Quad wants him to do all the manly stuff around the house. Where he feel like, well, if I can't take the trash out, she should be okay with taking the trash out. It should be okay and she shouldn't have an issue with that. And that ain't what she like. So they're consistently going back and forth. They're just talking back and forth, whatever. You know, she think him saying that she was talking as a buddy is wrong and disrespectful. You know, he say, you know, at one point I called, because she said, I was at a spot one day and he was calling me trying to argue. And then he says, I wasn't trying to argue. I was trying to talk to her and she wouldn't give me 5 minutes of her time to have a conversation as her husband. And he then said, you know, but I'm going to apologize for, you know, interrupting your spot and your stuff or whatever. I'm sorry. All this man did was put his hand on her leg to say, I'm sorry. She said, don't touch me. And it was crazy for her to tell her husband not to touch her when he was apologizing for something that she was offended by. Greg fell out on the floor. There's some bullshit. You know, I can't believe it. You know, you full of shit. And he didn't say it like in a whole long, drawn out way. He said it in almost a joking, playing way as well. And, you know, he said, you know what, I ain't gonna say nothing else. When he fell on the floor, he was like foaming at the mouth. I'm like, where you get the goddamn foam from in his mouth? But, you know, was what it was. You know, one of his friends then said, one of the guys was there, said, you know what, sometimes we as men don't realize what our wives do is basically what they do. We don't appreciate it. He said, you know, at one point, you know, I didn't value what my wife did. I thought she didn't do anything. He like, she was at home taking care of our kids. I'm like, why you mention kids, Lord Jesus? Greg then says, that's a big job to do. You know, that's very important. You know what I'm saying? That's important. But Quad don't have no kids. Petty boots. And Quad in the confessional says to him, you know, the way you treat me and talk to me and how we are, I would never bless you with children. You know, I would never give you that gift. You know, we would not have children, point blank, period. And I'm like, well, damn, Quad. And I feel like when Quad said to him in that confessional, I'm not giving you any children. I don't think we are at a place that I will ever give you children. He ain't getting no younger. I feel like the fact that he wants children and she does not want to give him children, that's the reason couples get a divorce. Simply plain put, that is the reason some people get a divorce, because you want something I'm not going to give you. So if you won't give it to me and we don't want the same things, why are we married if we don't want the same things? But you know, it is what it is. So he get up leaving because she said something like, we either gonna stay together and make this work, or we're gonna leave each other. And you can go on, be free, be happy, marry you a second wife, let her bore you some children, and you can be happy, and I ain't gonna worry about it. He didn't like that. And I feel like he not like that because he feel like we arguing, but we should never talk about leaving the other one and somebody going off to do whatever else. I feel like maybe he just didn't like that. And so he walked away and she's like, see, and that's what I have to deal with. And he shouldn't walk off. He shouldn't. But at the same time, how do you want your husband to feel when you tell him to go ahead and marry somebody else? I would be like, bitch, what? No. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, whatever. We see contestant Scott talk. They had a really short scene or whatever. And She basically lets him know, you know, with the stress of Miss Renee being gone, with her always working and it's going crazy, and she's just starting to feel the stress of not being there for her family enough like she should be. And so she says, like, you know, I think I want to take a break from practicing medicine. I want to stay home with the children. I feel like if we plan accordingly and we budget, we can easily live off of your income alone with me being a housewife if I take a short break. She did not say she was going to stop forever, but she said she just needs some time to be a mother at home with her kids and be fully there and not be dependent on no nanny, not be thinking about other people above her children. And Scott completely backed his wife up. So, you know what? I can definitely support you in that. You know what I'm saying? As the man of this house, as your husband, I can make it my duty to provide for our family. And for me, I thought that was a great conversation to have between the husband and the wife, because her reasoning for wanting to be a housewife wasn't selfish, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that she said, you know, we can budget so that you're not having to do anything extra. We can still live the same life we live so that you're not having to do anything extra, but I can be home with the kids. But I'm like, well, hell, you're going to save money on nannies because she going to be the full mommy at home. So, you know what, it was what it was. And I like how he supported her decision, knowing how she felt about it. He didn't say, well, damn, man, we got a house now, we got a car now, we got 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? He knew it. He said, you know what, I got you. Okay. All right, black man. So they go to the DNA party that Heavenly is setting up. It was really pretty and decorated or whatever. You know, all the people come in, you know, husbands and wives. And the one thing I would mention is, you know, when Toya said, because when Jackie and Curtis walked in, and, you know, Jackie told the ladies that, you know, well, Curtis has moved back into the home. You know, we're taking baby steps to kind of get back to where we are, but he is back at home. How Toya said, you know, if it was her, she would not have allowed her person to come back so fast. How she's happy for Jackie to be kind of moving forward, but she's still also scared for Jackie till she think Curtis may do the same thing again. But I'm like, hell, y'all up there worried about goddamn Jackie and Curtis. Y'all should have been worried about Simone and Cecil, because that's who got a goddamn divorce. True tea. So whatever. They all get the results of the test. It was really cool to see how, you know, each of them had whatever percent of African descent or European descent or Indian descent or this whatever, you know, descent. What was I saying? Descent? Percent is what I'm gonna say. Percent within themselves. We see that Quad had the most African heritage at 90%. You know, we saw how Simone was like, no matter what the test results say, I am a black woman. You know what I'm saying? You know, black power. And I think she was at 77% African. Contessa brought up a good point, saying, you know, looking at the results and seeing how much European was in her reminded her how slavery wasn't kind, and saying how, you know, that part of her heritage she had no control over, because again, in slavery times, your ancestors were raped by their master. So the reason some of us have any European in us is because our ancestors were raped, you know, during slavery, and we are what we are now. So I thought that was a real thing to say, because it's true. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, it's the truth. It was what it was. Who else did they talk about? It was nice. You know, the guys did not get tested. It was only the girls. I think who had the most Caucasian or European? I can't think who had the most Caucasian, European in them or whatever. But I just remember that Quad had the most African. She's like, it's the way I'm the real Dunda. It makes me so proud to have more black in me. Girl, look, it don't matter how much black you have in you to be. You can be a proud black African American even if you only have 50% in you. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Girl, Quad, shut up. So we then see Toya, who brings up a conversation her and Quad had, like the day before, like a couple days before, or whatever. And she said, you know, we was talking or whatever, and she was talking about the company BG or whatever, who she was or is a brand ambassador for. And she said when Quad brought it up, she mentioned, well, ain't they going bankrupt? Quad, I guess, who was offended that she said that, then shot back and said, well, how can you talk? You got all that tax debt. And Toya said she was offended. I feel I'm on the side of Toya. My thing is, if I say something about your job, you can't then say, well, bitch, you got roaches. not that I have roaches. But you can't say something personal about the person who's supposed to be a friend. And I think the question is, I wonder what exactly Toya said and how did she say it to make Quad shoot back to attack her personal financial situation. Because my thing is, you don't own BCBG, whatever it is, Quad, you don't own them. They were supposed to be paying you. So if they went bankrupt, they don't technically have anything to do with you personally. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't. So at that point, they're kind of going back and forth and kind of arguing. And I think Toya said, well, you need the job. You need the job. Quad then saying, well, you need a job because you got kids. You got kids. And Toya, Quad laughing. Toya was upset. Simone then chime in. No, Damon leaves because they was arguing. Damon get up and he leave. And he like, what, I'm going to leave. I ain't got time, And then in his confession, he say, whenever they get to yelling and screaming, I just leave out because I don't have time for it. It's just too much and I'm not going to deal with it. I always leave. We see Simone say how, basically Quad being childish and the argument with itself is stupid simply because they're both housewives. Their job is to take care of their husbands who are the doctors that they're married to. So them talking about whose job it is to do what, your job is to be a housewife. Y'all both are housewives. So, that was one thing about it too. Eugene then gets pissed off. Eugene gets so pissed off that he says, fellas, we all should just leave. All the guys say, look, this leave is in, let them do whatever. But he was also pissed off because they were yelling and screaming. He then said, I said this to my wife in confidence, but you know what, when y'all act like this, y'all act like a bunch of cunts. I said he called them some cunts. He called them some cunts. And I'm like, you called these, oh my God, Lord Jesus. Think about that when he called them a cunt. I completely agree with him. I agree with the reason he said it, but not that he said it. I get that he was so frustrated that it was a situation going on that he hated that he just spoke out of turn. So I don't think he was right for saying it, but I also damn sure don't think he was wrong. They do act like bitches and crazy people and pussies when it's stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? But everyone is shocked when he said it because, of course, at this point, Heavenly Husband has left, but all the other guys are sitting there. They're sitting there. And it was weird because none of the guys said, hey, no one did that. They just kind of say, come on, let's all leave. Let's let the ladies talk and let's us guys leave. So, but before they do that, Heavenly pissed off. You can't be calling, addressing people's wives like that. He said, well, I wasn't addressing anyone. I was saying it to the group. That's how y'all acting. Heavenly get there. I see, well, who you think you talking to? I'm like, Heavenly, you gonna jump back at Eugene? And I'm surprised that Toya didn't jump back. Like, you better get the fuck out of my husband. But, they kind of backed her up. She got so hyper damn head thing fell off. And, I think she ended up leaving too because she was pissed off at what Eugene said. Because then she said, you don't know no one to say that. He said, I've known y'all for 5 years. I can say what the fuck I want to say. And he didn't say fuck. He said, I can say what I want to say. But I do feel like when you've known someone for so long and you've seen all these arguments and fights and petty bullshit, it can get to you. And you feel like you know these people well enough that you're their family. And that you can say whatever. And he took full advantage of that bitch. He took full advantage of that shit. So, he leave or whatever, and it was situated. Heavenly, when she got up, I'm like, she was gonna fight him, and I was just confused. And I'm like, I just can't take it, But again, when they argue, they are acting like cunts. So we see the guys talking in the hallway, basically. And I think it was Curtis who was, all the guys were like, hey, it was a little crazy, but we do hate when they argue. And then Curtis said, we get what you said and why you said it. He said, but you directed that to the group of them, and all of them weren't engaged in the situation. It was really Toya and Mariah. And Toya and Quad. He was like, so you kind of grouped them all together, and that kind of wasn't fair. He was like, so you know what? You need to go apologize just for that alone. He was like, you really can't do that. And Eugene completely agreed. He saw the guy's point. And what I liked was the guys were able to have this conversation where this one man had just insulted all of their wives. And no one jumped bad down his throat and, what? Let's fight. It wasn't any of that. It was a logical calm, rational conversation. And it's crazy that his point was the ladies can't do that. Whenever they arguing, they acting like crazy bitches. They acting like cunts. And he just said it, and he didn't think about it or whatever. So on the inside, we then see Quad kind of getting up or whatever and saying this way, like, when you attack me, and you struck at me first, and when you strike at me, I strike back. Meaning you said something to me about the whole BG thing being bankrupt, so I hit you where it hurts. I said that you got to tax that. And Toya like, yeah, but it doesn't really matter. It's fine. I thought we were fine. Quad then said something like, well, yeah, I got a couple more jobs on the horizon, so it ain't never gonna stop. Meaning you try to say the one job I had, I don't have it because they went bankrupt, but I got these other ones lined up. And Simone was like, Quad, no one's hating on you about it. That wasn't the point. Like, no one's hating on you. And she said, y'all shouldn't because it's petty. Quad and Simone then said, that's what I mean with Quad. Quad, she doesn't react well to anyone telling her any kind of truth. Because if the truth was the company you're speaking of is filing bankruptcy, it's just the truth. You can't then get mad and sensitive and want to hit in the jugular and go personal with it. You know what I'm saying? If someone is saying something they're wondering about or whatever. So, he said she can't listen to the truth, which is true. The last thing that we see is Eugene and all the guys coming in. They're like, look, Eugene wants to say something. Eugene sits down at the table. The ladies are around or whatever. I think my voice is going on because it's 3:53 in the morning. He clearly apologized. I felt like it was heartfelt. I felt like he meant every word of it, and I like that when he apologized, he explains what he meant and why he said what he said. He said, seeing the way y'all argue and, y'all in each other's faces, y'all pointing and yelling and screaming, y'all are having to be physically restrained from basically fighting. And I felt like when y'all did that, that's what y'all acted like, and that's what I meant. That's what I meant. I just said it the wrong way. He said, I'm sorry for what I said. I did not mean to use that word. It's offensive. So he said all the apologies. He also said, when y'all argue, fuss, and fight, y'all are basically pulling each other down, and y'all should be lifting each other up. And, for me as a person who love y'all as family, it makes me sad to see y'all be like that. He like, so the only thing I could think of was to be the truth and say y'all acting like some goddamn cunts. And, it's really, really true. And he was like, it was, for the fighting, the petty, being petty and bickering, it just kind of hurts my feelings. And Simone then said, you can't call our issues petty. Yes, the fuck you can. Because every issue y'all have with each other is fucking petty. And it's crazy that it's fucking petty, considering the fact that some of y'all are of a certain age. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like because Quad is the younger. Probably Toya is kind of younger. So them bickering, it is what it is. I think maybe Mariah might be in her late 30s, early 40s. Whereas Simone, Heavenly, and Jackie, I'm pretty sure are in their 50s. But, I liked how he said the reason I said it like that is because that's how y'all act. And y'all are petty. So when Simone said, you can't call our issues petty, he said, I can't call them petty because I have been with y'all for 5 years, and it's y'all argue over the exact same thing over and over and over. And they do. Every argument is a recycled argument from before. It could just be with a different person about something a little bit different, but still the same goddamn thing that y'all was arguing about before. And that's the bad part. So I felt like even though he said the wrong thing about calling them a cunt, the reason he said it, the reason behind it, once he explained it, it made complete fucking sense. And I felt like if the ladies can admit to that, then they goddamn this as bad as Quad. Because it's true. Y'all should not be on here as grown as women fussing and fighting over the same issues every single damn season. The same issues. But, I like how they ended it with them all laughing. Eugene said that he would even apologize to Heavenly, who was offended and she already left. So she didn't see his apology. And then the episode went on with them laughing and joking and kind of being jovial about it, and no one was kind of having any hard feelings. It was beautiful. And then it went off. So it is, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sleepy. I hope you guys enjoy this review. I will be back tomorrow with other reviews, and also on Sunday, The Walking Dead comes back on. I can't wait, darling. Other than that, I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. Peace.